Good day to you. This is Mr. Mlenga, your teacher of geography. So today I want us to continue with our topic, power and energy. And in our lesson today, I want us to achieve these objectives. And one of the objectives that I want us to achieve is to explain the meaning of non-renewable sources of energy. Then we should also be able to identify non-renewable sources of energy. So in our lesson today, we are going to look at these objectives. Now, what are non-renewable energy sources or energy sources? Now, non-renewable energy sources are resources that cannot be replaced during the time of a human lifespan. We are talking of energy that can be, replaced over 1,000 or 1,000,000 years. Now, these sources of energy are exhaustible and cannot be replaced within a short period of time. So it can take thousands of years form or exist in fixed amounts in the earth. So hence, they need to be conserved before they become depleted. Now, when you talk of non-renewable energy sources, some of the examples may include oil, coal, natural gas, and uranium. So these are some of the examples. Now, non-renewable sources of energy, they lack the natural capacity to recycle after use. They are therefore exhaustible sources of energy. They are mainly fossil fuels and include, beginning with number one, which is petroleum. Now, sometimes petroleum is referred to as crude oil. Now, petroleum is a very important energy source. This is an inflammable mixture of hydrocarbon with complex chemical properties. It is found in rocks occurring in the Earth's interior, flowing freely as a liquid or in gaseous state. Oils, you know, is mined and processed to get various oil products that are used to run machines. Examples of these products include petrol, diesel, aviation fuels, bitumen, kerosene, and lubricants. So these are, some of the examples of products of petroleum or crude oil. Now, petroleum is mainly produced in the Middle East countries as crude oil. So the Middle East is the largest producer of, petroleum. However, there are countries like the United States of America, Canada, they produce, Russia also, they produce huge amounts of, petroleum. Now, Zambia does not have its own natural gas or oil reserves as yet. Now, crude oil or petroleum is imported from the Middle East countries and mainly used in the transport industry in Zambia. Now, when you talk of crude oil, since Zambia does not have its own, oil reserves, it imports from other countries, especially the Middle East, and it is mainly used in the transport industry as well as the agriculture industry. Now, besides tankers, an oil pipeline from Dar es Salaam is used to transport petroleum to Ndola, where it is refined. Now, in Zambia, the main companies that market petroleum products are Puma, Total, Petroda, Mobile Engine, Mount Meru, among others. So these are some of the, companies that market petroleum products mainly in Zambia. Now, what are some of the advantages of petroleum? Now, It is found in abundance and new deposits are being discovered. So every now and then, there are some places which have been discovered, and these places have crude oil in abundance. Now, it also has a wide range of domestic and industrial uses. It can be easily stored. It is used in generating other forms of energy. Now, what are some of the disadvantages of petroleum? Crude oil is bulky, hence expensive to transport. It is an exhaustible form of energy, meaning that it can finish if not used, properly. It it can just cease to exist. It also pollutes the environment when burned. It is also expensive, hence not easily available to everyone. Due to its inflammable nature, it is also very dangerous and requires careful handling. It it is a transboundary resource. This simply means when we say it is a transboundary resource, it simply means that it knows no boundaries. It can exist in Ukraine and it can also exist in Russia across the boundary. So you discover that countries which have crude oil or petroleum across their boundaries, they tend to have a lot of conflicts. So, like, for example, Sudan and South Sudan, there is a lot of conflict between those two countries because of the transboundary nature of the existence of petroleum. Now, we said petroleum produces different products, and one of them is fuel oil, diesel, kerosene, petrol, propane. This is natural gas there. So it also produces, bitumen, which is used in construction. Now, petroleum is usually, burnt in a blast furnace. So when it is burnt, each product is produced at its own temperature. For example, the first one to be produced is petrol at about 150 degrees Celsius, followed by kerosene, then diesel at 300 degrees Celsius, just like that. So this is petrol feeding an engine. So basically, petroleum is a very, very important, source of energy. Now, let me take you straight into coal. Now, what is coal? Coal is a black or brown rock consisting of carbon or formed from, energy and vegetation remains. It is the oldest source of energy discovered and used during revolution. In Zambia, it is mined in Mamba. Now, this is how coal looks like. Now, what are some of the advantages of coal? Coal is more efficient in generating thermal power than oil. It is easily obtained from the ground. It does not require processing to produce heat like petroleum. Now, what are some of the disadvantages? It produces a lot of smoke, hence it is a pollutant. It is exhaustible, it can finish. Mining of coal leads to environmental degradation by creation of open pits. Coal produces low heat and energy value compared to other forms of energy. It is also bulky, hence very expensive to transport. Now, let me take you straight into natural gas. What are we talking about when we say natural gas? Natural gas occurs in association with petroleum found in the upper layer of oil. Sometimes it exists independently. Now, it is mainly used for domestic purposes, generating thermal electricity and for industrial activities. Now, what are some of the advantages of natural gas? Number one, it is a clean source of energy to use. It is also easy to use. Natural gas is cheap to transport using pipelines. It is also not affected by weather changes. What are some of the disadvantages of natural gas? It is exhaustible source of energy. So it is an exhaustible source of energy, meaning that it can easily finish or it can easily cease to exist. Since it is highly inflammable, any leakage may lead to an explosion. It is also expensive, or it is also an expensive source of energy for the low-income earners. It is also an air pollutant. So as you're able to see, that's how natural gas looks like. Uranium. Now, uranium is another source of energy. Now, this source of energy, when you talk of uranium, is naturally, it is a naturally occurring radioactive mineral used to produce nuclear energy or atomic energy. So uranium is used in nuclear power plants to generate electricity. Uranium mining was officially formalized in Zambia in 2008, following the discovery of large uranium deposits in various parts of the country. So today, uranium is extracted at the Lumwana mine in northwestern province as a byproduct of its copper mining operations. Nuclear stations are located in sparsely populated areas due to its high risk, involved. Now that's how uranium looks like. As you're able to see, it looks like that. So this is uranium. Now, what are some of the advantages of uranium? It's a reliable source of energy due to its long-lasting supply. It also generates large amounts of energy. Now, disadvantages of nuclear or atomic energy. Disadvantages of nuclear or atomic energy or disadvantages of uranium. Construction of nuclear plants and stations is very expensive. Very, very expensive. Now, waste from power reactors are radioactive. Hence, they are harmful to the environment. Reactors can also be used to generate dangerous weapons to mankind. The nuclear weapons, which are very, very dangerous. Uranium is rare and is exhaustible, hence not a permanent source of energy. It also requires high technological and scientific know-how to install stations. Now, let me take you straight into examination questions based on what we've discussed so far. Now, the first question says, define the renewable energy, giving two specific examples. Now, renewable energy is a source of energy that can be replaced or that is replenishable. Examples of renewable sources of energy include water, wind, and so on. Discuss the roles the Energy Regulation Board plays in the energy sector. So one of the roles is to monitor performance of energy, to regulate prices of energy products. So like what is happening currently in Zambia, the Energy Regulation Board gives the nation a monthly, price changes in all petroleum products. Apart from that, the ERB also protects customers from exploitation. It also approves sites for energy plant. So if you want to set up an energy plant, you have to be in contact with the Energy Regulation Board for them to approve the site. Now, next question. Why should biogas be taken as the most sure, reliable rural energy source? Now, remember, when we talked about biogas, we talked about it being a source of energy that is generated from, dead material, plant, and animal remains. This is biogas. We are talking about energy that is generated from manure. Now, why do you think it is a most sure, reliable rural energy source? One of the reasons is there is plenty of organic manure in rural areas, for example, from animals, cattle, and also from crop remains. Apart from that, there is also enough food matter to produce, methane and carbon dioxide needed for biogas. Apart from that, it is also readily available in rural areas. So biogas is one form of energy that should be encouraged in rural areas because the material is quite enough that is needed to be used in, production of biogas. Now, another question says, which of the following sources of energy is not or is non-renewable? Geothermal, petroleum, water, wood. So the best possible answer here is B, which is petroleum. Now, next question. Which one of the following reasons explains why there is increasing demand in electricity in Northwestern Province? Now, we all know that Northwestern Province is one of, the major mining provinces besides Copperbelt. Now, construction of Kabombo Hydroelectric Power Station, construction of new roads, opening and reopening of mines, rural electrification program. So the best possible answer here is opening and reopening of mines, because these require a lot of energy to produce, to be produced rather for consumption in the mines as well as domestically. So these are some of the examination questions I wanted to give you as samples, which are extracts from, different past papers. So this one is an extract from the 2014 ECZ past paper. So thank you so much for your time. I'll see you in our next meeting. Have a lovely day.